Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. If you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you may have seen me talking about this a little bit. Basically, I recently realized that I have a very large, or at least very large for me, pile of comics and graphic novels that's sitting on my physical TBR. I keep buying them and then not reading them, and I keep going to the library and checking them out and then not reading them. And I have this weird thing where I'm saving these comics for a very specific situation that never seems to actually happen. I keep thinking I'll read them during other readathons, but then I never end up participating in those readathons. I think I will save them for a day when I don't have a lot of time to read, but I do have some time to read. But then I just end up reading a chapter from a book instead of a comic. So I kind of threw out the idea on Twitter and Instagram of having a comics focused readathon. And I just wanted to see if other people were interested in participating with me. I'm someone who doesn't need a huge group of people in order to do a thing. See my August month-long readathons. If there's just a handful of people who are interested in doing a thing with me, I'll happily do it. Or if people just in general are interested in watching me do the thing, I would probably still do it. So I decided to have my own comics readathon that I am calling Read Moar Comics. Thanks to Amanda Nelson over at Book Riot for helping me come up with that one, just because I couldn't think of anything besides comic-a-thon, but I didn't really like how that sounded either. So yes, the Read Moar Comics Challenge, where we're going to spend a week reading comics. This is going to be held from August 5th through 11th. I wanted to wait until August to give myself, as well as other people, a couple of weeks to figure out if they can or want to participate and put together TBRs, things like that. So yes, it will start on August 5th in your time zone whenever it becomes August 5th, and then it will end after it stops being August 11th, wherever you live. I did come up with some challenges for this, and feel free to do all of them, none of them, some of them, however you like. I'm not someone who feels like you have to do challenges in order to participate in a readathon, but I think that it's always fun when there are challenges or prompts to help you also figure out what your TBR should be. Also, this is open to everything that falls under the large umbrella that is comics. So that is single issue comics, graphic novels, graphic memoirs, collected volumes, manga, any of that. All right, first challenge is to start a new series, and that is a new to you series. It doesn't have to be new in 2019 or anything like that. It's literally just a series that you haven't started reading yet. Get started. Challenge 2 is to continue on with the series. So that is to pick up the next single issue or volume of a ongoing series that you need to catch up with. You don't necessarily need to be all the way caught up, but it's just to continue on with it. And if you don't have a series that you are currently in the middle of, then you can kind of combine challenges 1 and 2 by starting a new series and then immediately reading the second volume or collection or whatever it is in that series. If you don't know, I'm very much into breaking and bending readathon rules to fit your situation. So feel free to do that with all of these. Number 3 is to read a comic in translation, and bonus points if it ends up being a woman in translation, because August is Women in Translation Month. Number 4 is to read a comic that is written and illustrated by the exact same person. Number 5 is to read a standalone comic, and so this can be either a graphic memoir or graphic novel that is just a single volume, or this can be a short run comic series that's all collected into a single volume. I know that sometimes there are limited run comic series that come out in single issues, and they're only 6 to 12 issues, and so they all end up being contained into a single trade. Feel free to consider that as well. 6 is to read a nonfiction comic, and so this obviously could be fulfilled by reading a graphic memoir, or you can find a comic that covers some general nonfiction. And number 7 is going to be the most difficult challenge, I think, for most people, and the one that I am the most interested to see what people end up choosing, and that's to read a comic that you don't really know anything about. So this is going to require you to go to your comic book store, library, and to find something sort of on the shelf that you don't really know anything about, you haven't really heard people talking about, anything like that. I always think it's really fun to just sort of browse just bookstores and comic book stores and all types of stores in general, just to see sort of what's out there and to find something that sounds of interest without really knowing too much about it, or maybe you'll recognize an author, a writer or artist on the book that you've like read stuff from them before but you haven't read this specific thing. That could also work, but try to go for something that's maybe outside of your comfort zone or just outside of like things that you would typically go for, just because I think that's kind of fun. I think it's fun to stretch your horizons. Obviously, this is going to be a little bit of a risk, so this is why I recommend going to your local library. And, if you're feeling like super hesitant and you're spending money on this, feel free to look up the rating on Goodreads to make sure it's not a super terrible book or something along those lines. Really, my hope for this is that people will pick up comics and graphic novels that are like outside of the big ones that we always hear about, like saga or superhero comics, or even like really popular graphic memoirs by like Lucy Knisley and like Fun Home and things like that. Like, those comics get a lot of praise and recognition, and I know that there are so many other comics and graphic novels out there that are really fantastic, but they don't get as much like press or anything like that. So I just think it's always really fun to pick up under the radar stuff. So those are the challenges. I will have them written down below. I'll also have a link to my Instagram, because I'm going to make an Instagram post. So feel free to post about this on your Instagram. If you maybe don't have a YouTube channel yourself, or even if you do have a YouTube channel, feel free to post like your TBRs on Instagram and things like that. Use the hashtag Read Moar Books if you are going to be posting on Twitter or Instagram. I'll be like monitoring those and things like that. And it'll be a nice way to collect all of the posts and TBRs and things like that together. If you end up making like a TBR video, feel free to post a link to that down in the comment section. I'll be sure to keep an eye out on this comment section, because YouTube generally posts anything with a link as spam, and so I'll check the spam box to make sure that I'm approving comments for anyone who makes a TBR video. So yeah, I think that's everything I have for this video. I'll be making a separate TBR video myself, so you guys can look forward to that in a couple of weeks, because I still need to grab a couple of comics that'll actually fulfill these challenges. Like, I made challenges that are actual challenges for myself as well. So that's fun. And yeah, if you have any like questions or comments about this at all, feel free to leave that down in the comment section below. Like I said, I'm going to be making like an Instagram graphic, so feel free to grab that from my Instagram. So yeah, that's all I have for this week, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.